Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to LinkedIn Tuesdays. We're very glad you're with us. It's January 4th, it's not 2021. It is 2022. Nobody noticed that on there. All right, there we go. I just fixed it. Thank you for joining us today. Yeah, how long will I be putting 2021 when I write checks out for the next, for the next month? Not that you write a lot of checks anymore. So thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please just open up the chat window and you're welcome to enter your questions there. For those watching on Facebook right now, if you have any questions, just enter them into the chat, field, comment field, and we'll be sure to get those questions answered for you. Also, if you'd like to network with each other, you're welcome to put your, who you are, what you do, how to be contacted. You're welcome to put that information in the chat window so you all can network with each other, because you never know who you may find that can help you out in the future. Please note this event is being recorded and is currently live on Facebook. The recording will be on the Career DFW Facebook page and the Career USA YouTube channel for others to view in the future. By participating in this event, you give consent for your name and picture to appear. Please note that any comments you put in the Zoom chat window will not appear in the recording. Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jeff Morris. Back in 2008, I started a website called careerdfw.org to help those who are unemployed in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. In 2012, I started a second website, careerusa.org, to help those around the United States. I have written a book called Your Job Search, What I've Learned About Your Job Search That You May Not Know. It is available on Amazon. Since 2007, I've been facilitating and leading the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. The group's been around since the late 1990s, and at the end of this program, I'll tell you about our upcoming program that we have coming up this Friday. And since 2017, I've been a member of the practice interview team. How often and how much time have you spent practicing your interviewing skills? We'll talk a little bit more about that at the very end of this session. But if you'd like to have more information on how you can get a free practice interview, please reach out to me and I'll be glad to get that information to you. Well, when we started LinkedIn presentations back in 2020, April 2020 is when we started this. I reached out to those people who I knew who were experts in the field. Locke and Ruth are career consultants, contract recruiters. They help people on a daily basis. Terry Sullivan is the founder of BuzzPro, a digital sales and marketing leader company. And Kurt Vondermatter is a retained search consultant. He gets paid the big bucks to try to find you, that job at a company he's looking for. So they all share what they know about LinkedIn from a little bit different point of view. So our speaker today is Locke Alderson. He's going to talk about how to use LinkedIn for job hunting, strategies to get results. Locke, thank you for being with us, and it's all yours.
Okay. How do I share the screen, Jeff? It's not working.
You're going to hover over share screen. Should be at the bottom of your screen, I believe, and then click on your PowerPoint presentation. And
has it come up?
Not yet. Come on, Locke, how many times have we done this?
Well, I clicked like you told me to, and it.
Here we go. Something's happening.
I will.
There we go.
I
Put it in presentation mode and you'll be good to go. Okay,
I'll move that up out of the way. My name is Locke Alderson. I am a retired recruiter. I spent 42 years in industry in recruiting and HR, and had my own recruiting firm for 12 of those years. I've been doing career consulting, working with those in job transition since 2001. So I'm a little over 20 years in that, because some of the companies include Lee Heck Harris and Mullen International in career consulting. And of course, the other companies, Oracle, Siebel, Raytheon, E-Systems, Rockwell, Litton, and Continental Airlines, and a couple others along the way. So it's a good history. Anybody who's interested in the presentation, because I've added some new material. There's about 40 slides. If you want the slide deck, lockealderson@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to send it to you, the whole deck. Okay, so that's kind of what we want to talk about today. One of the reasons we want to talk about LinkedIn, and it's not working, Jeff. have to do it manually. Okay, why LinkedIn? Your profile, your headline, and your about section. These are what we're going to talk about today. You're open to work, your skills and endorsements, optimizing your profile, and then how to recruiter search, and then searching for jobs using job alerts and filters, and then searching for people, and then some homework for each of you to do. Okay, well, why LinkedIn? LinkedIn was originally a tool for marketing and sales professionals for networking. It expanded into, today it's over 760 million people worldwide, 160 million of those are in the United States. And quickly, recruiters jumped on it, adopted it, because there are about 1,400,000 recruiters on LinkedIn on a regular basis to find and engage talent. LinkedIn is now the #1 tool used by recruiters and hiring managers to find and hire talent. And currently, at any point in time, there are about 30 million employers who have listed jobs on that. LinkedIn is currently 90% of the recruiters are on LinkedIn because there are so many people on it. It's the most important tool in the recruiter's toolbox right now, even though there are other search engines out there, Indeed.com or Monster, Facebook, or some of the others that are out there in job search mode as well. Okay, we want to take a look at your profile, your headline, your dashboard, your about section, which used to be the summary section, and then you're open to work under the about section, open to work, and your experience, your skills and endorsements, and how do you optimize your profile. One of the reasons we look at LinkedIn and why you want to optimize your profile is you want to get found if you're on LinkedIn, if you're in job search mode. And so the techniques that I'll pass along to you today are designed to help you to do that. Again, it all starts with your profile. This is a copy of mine. Again, there's a banner photo there. I've got a headshot here. It's good to have a good headshot. You don't want one with you standing and with your hands on a Van de Graaff generator with your hair out, standing out with electricity on it. Okay, there's certain aspects of that about your profile that you notice. You notice your name. You have a name field. Again, my legal name is John Locke Alderson Jr., but I go by Locke. So that's what you want to put there. I have a headline here underneath. You have 210 characters in your headline section. Many people, and we'll try and look at some resumes when we're done, we'll only have a couple of things on that in their headline section. You notice this had mine as a career consultant at Lehigh Harrison. Okay, we're going to jump ahead for some reason, Jeff. Okay. My clicker is finally working again, so we'll go with that. One of the things that you want to do on your LinkedIn profile, there are different sections of that. You want a complete profile, and you will attain all-star status, which is the top ranking on LinkedIn. The reason that you want to do that on any given search, all things being equal, you'll be one of the top candidates in that category. A professional headshot that you want to have and a background photo. We'll just take a look at Jeff's background banner photo as well. He's got something different than what I've got on mine. Mine was from a trip we took to the Southern Caribbean and Curacao. Your headline, this should be the job title of the position that you're actually applying for. If you don't put anything there, LinkedIn defaults to the title of the last job in your employment section. Under the open to work section is under your headline, and you want to open that up. Even if you only open it up to recruiters, you have a choice when you get into the open to work to open to all of LinkedIn or open to just recruiters. And you want to use that because you can add at least 5 additional job titles in that particular section. And that's how you get found on LinkedIn, is the number of times that your job title is found. The about section, it's your summary. It's an overview of your career. It can match basically your resume and should come pretty close. It should include keywords from your profession. Your contact information is vitally important, because if we're not directly linked on LinkedIn as first degree connections, I may not be able to get in touch with you, even though I'm a recruiter, to try and find you. So I want to have your contact information on the first line of your about section, your email and your phone number, some way that people can get hold of you. It can be on your profile more than one time, and be at the end of your about section as well. Your experience section should you use your job title. If you have an unusual job title like member of technical staff 3, you want to explain what that is and what's the generally recognized title for your job out in society, in parentheses, and then a description of your duties and the results. What were some of the results of performing those duties? And also include keywords from your profession. Your skills in your profession, from your profession, are important. Also endorsements. People can endorse you for having certain skills that you have. And I know the maximum number that you can accumulate is 99 on that. We'll take a look at that a little bit later. Your education, award, certification, and professional development. What have you done to keep your skills current? That was mentioned in a call that I was on this morning about older professionals. One of the things that they need to do is what have you done since you got laid off or took that job elsewhere? Again, your education, if you have more than just your basic education, you want to include some of those things. Likewise, awards and certifications. Any recommendations that you have are very strong. They're like letters of recommendation or reference letters, and they're there on your profile itself. Let's take another look at your profile. Is your profile is your name right here, your LinkedIn URL public. If you just use the one that LinkedIn assigns you, they'll have your name, and after that, you'll have 8 to 10 characters, miscellaneous characters on that. Okay. If it's a name like John Smith, you may get a red X when you try and use John Smith. So you may have to put John Smith, MBA, Texas, or something like that to designate who you are. Another thing about your profile, you want to take a look at your profile and see if your settings are really public, because you want to move the sliders. If you're in job search mode, you notice edit the visibility and you edit your public profile. These are things that you can edit to show people your background photo, your headline, your activities, your current experience, and details. Again, so move the sliders from left to right, or radio buttons as they're called, and that will alert people that you can be seen on LinkedIn. Okay. Other things that you want to do is who can see your email address. That's something that you want to change and open up. You may want to close down who can see your connections, because recruiters tend to look at connections. Okay. If you have your connections open, they might find another dozen recruiters like me on there, or people like you, or for an accountant or project manager with your kind of background. That'll add to their recruiting list, if you will. Again, starting back at your profile, you typically get 6 to 10 seconds worth of attention. And again, notice in this one, I've got open to work open, and that opens up the open to work. You can notice down here that there are 5 additional job titles, additional details that you may be open to relocation, that you're open to part-time worker, et cetera. So those are some of the things that you're wanting to do. Notice here, I've changed the headline on this one because I'm no longer with Mullen International or with Lee Heck Harrison. So those are the things that you want to do. And in your headline, it's particularly important that you make it so that it's easy to read. Okay. I've used the pipe character right here. That's a shift key above the enter key on your keyboard. If you use the pipe character, use a space on either side, because consultant, pipe character, executive, run together is not a searchable term on LinkedIn. Well, that's some of the things that you see on the LinkedIn profile when a recruiter first looks at your profile. Again, here are some headlines that we want to take a look at. Again, nothing wrong with unemployed or retired. They're very descriptive. They tell what somebody is. But again, they have a negative connotation that somebody's out of work. What have they been doing since they went out of work? Or retired, they means that they've given it up. They don't have to get up and go to do the job anymore. Just taking a look at that, here's a slide of unemployed. These are all people that had unemployed. So these are what it actually looks like in somebody's background. That's not too positive in terms of talking about who you are and what you want to do and what you're looking for. Doesn't give enough information. And you're trying to get people's attention. You want them to click through, send you an email, or make a phone call to contact you. So these two we already mentioned. Seeking a new opportunity is better, but again, it doesn't go any further than just say you're seeking a new opportunity and say, so what? What are you looking for? Well, recruiters may not even stop to ask the question. They may just go on to the next profile. Formerly a VP of Finance, nothing wrong with being a VP of Finance, except you said formerly. Again, the negative connotation of being out of work. Experienced digital design engineer seeking a new opportunity. A much better description of what somebody's looking for is very concise and together. Remember, in your headline, you have 210 characters to play with. Here's another one: social media strategist and content manager seeking a new opportunity. Has experience in the implications. They have experience in print and digital media. They know something about public relations and marketing and corporate communications. Very descriptive and a short statement about somebody's background and experience. Supply chain, procurement, purchasing. Pretty succinct for a short description and a headline. It gives an indication of what that person does. Senior accountant, again, general ledger, so generally recognized abbreviation, accounts payable, accounts receivable, financial reporting, and cost. Again, in doing your profile, you're probably going to want to do more than just something like this. Although when we look at some of the profiles on your profile, the headlines, we'll see that they may be shorter than that, and you're wasting space. It can be used to advertise who you are and what you do. Executive assistant, if I did a search, and I have done when I was working with Lehigh Harrison, there are about 35,000 executive assistants in the Dallas-Fort Worth area on LinkedIn. If you can define a little bit better what you do and who you've done it for, it's more descriptive. You're more likely to get that click through, which is the important thing that you're looking for. IT project manager, pretty descriptive, but again, adding ITIL, which is a certification. They've got experience as a Scrum Master, and they worked with Agile, the methodology. So that for an IT recruiter, pretty descriptive. It's somebody that they may want to look further about your profile. General manager, manufacturing, aerospace. Again, very descriptive in a short amount of space. But let's take a look at some other headlines. This is one VP of marketing, global marketing. It's better if you add some amplification of what you've done. What are some of the results that go along with that? Likewise, project manager, program manager, sales manager. Again, 35,000 project managers in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Okay, so you want to be descriptive and describe a little bit more of what you've done. What are you looking for? Okay, international experience in aerospace. Again, that kind of narrows it down to who this individual is, the kind of opportunity he's seeking. Customer service. Okay, again, customer relations manager. Again, aimed at increasing sales through customer retention. So those are just some ideas about headlines and what you can do with them. Again, the next area we want to touch on is the open to work right underneath your headline. You want to open that up so that you can see, you may have that banner around you, and some people don't like that horse collar banner, if you will. But again, it does allow you to list additional locations where you might be interested in working. I had on mine different job titles that you had. Okay, so that's something that you want to do. You can let recruiters know, limit it to that, or you can let all of LinkedIn know. That's your option if you like to do it. But I suggest that you use it because it gives you an opportunity to list 5 additional job titles. And the next area that we want to take a look at is your dashboard in the featured section. There are 2 different sections. You may have noticed this on your own profile. 110 viewers have viewed my profile, 283 have viewed the posting, and I've appeared to 160 search appearances. I did get a call today, or an email today, from somebody that found me on a search appearance. I've retired from active recruiting at the end of 2011, but I still get called based on what's in my profile. But if you were to click on that search appearances, before we do that, the featured section is an area where you can add a copy of your resume. I've got my presentations that are on there. An older version of this presentation is on my profile on LinkedIn and some of the other topics that I've covered. But the other thing, if you clicked on search appearances, it will show you the keywords that were used in the search, okay? And the other thing that it shows is where those people work. Where did the searchers work? For me as a recruiter, they may be looking for a recruiter to find them a job, or they may be looking for a recruiter for their own company. But for you, this will give you an idea of some other companies that may be looking for somebody with your kind of background. They may not have a current opening, but they may have people with your kind of experience working there. So that's something to consider as you look at your search appearances. Take a look at that, play with it. It's worth a click through. Again, let's talk about the summary now. This is a pretty good one. It's a little bit more detailed than I normally would recommend. Keeping them short. I think Terry Sullivan would tell you that in his summaries, he recommends that there be 4 or 5 lines and then a break, and then 4 or 5 lines, maybe an accomplishment. But this is a particularly well-written summary. Notice at the top, it has the individual's email address. Touchpad is particularly sensitive, but he talks about a position as a senior finance operations leader. he uses the term FP&A, financial planning analysis. Recruiters tend to know some of those kinds of things like an MBA, and those are things that they can do. If you do use an acronym like this, you do want to spell it out at least once in a particular time. Here's some other summaries that you can talk about. You can in a summary, you can use the first person. Normally in resumes and a lot of the summaries that I see, they're in third person, but here's one that's done in the first person. Okay, somebody who's worked at Disney World in terms of their experience and the kinds of things that they've done at Disney World, their competencies, if you will. But notice they're different. Here's one that talks about some of the soft skills that somebody has. Again, the only thing about soft skills that are mentioned like that, if there are no examples to amplify that, they tend to come across sometimes as fluff. So you want to be careful about using soft skills if that's all you talk about. Let's move on to the experience section. Notice on this particular one, this is one off of my profile. You want to have your job title that I mentioned. Here's mine. There's there, the company and dates. Here's the company and the dates that I work there and the location. Again, it may be important if somebody's looking to the local area. Most recruiters look within about 25 miles of the job's location, unless it's a job that involves travel or they're open to relocation or working remotely. And again, I have, in my case, there are 4 lines of description of what I did, a couple of bullet items for that experience that I had that I worked there. I also happen to include, when I retired from Oracle, Amanda Gill, who was the director of recruiting, sent an email out. And so I just copied that and put it in my profile. I think it adds a little bit. It's like a letter of recommendation that somebody has talked about. Let's move on to the adding a current position. If you're currently unemployed, you do want to have a current position because LinkedIn looks at the current employment field, looks at those dates, and includes those dates in their search. Again, in this particular case, we gave it a title, software developer. Okay, they're looking for full-time employment. Again, you could put both part-time or consulting. They're looking in the financial, particularly in the services industry. And they're looking in the Dallas-Fort Worth. It started to type in DAL and notice it defaults to Dallas-Fort Worth, Metroplex, Dallas County. So you could use those and use some of the artificial intelligence that LinkedIn contains. But it's a factor in terms of the jobs that you list there, and it gives you an additional chance to have another job title. Skills and endorsements are important. Further down on your profile, it gives you the opportunity to list some 50 different profile skills. Okay, the ones that are shown there, you can just click on and add those. If you were to add data analyst as opposed to data analysis, again, you can try if it's not one that LinkedIn recognizes, it'll give you an X. It won't let you add that. LinkedIn will choose 3 for you. Okay, and they may not be the 3 that you want to have displayed because somebody will have to click through to see additional ones. So let's take a look at that. How do you arrange those skills? Again, this happens to be for my profile, career consulting, executive search, and recruiting. And you notice the number of number of endorsements here on each of those for me. Okay, endorsed by colleagues at Mullen International. Okay, you can add a new skill by doing that right here, and you click on the blue pencil. Now, if you should want to rearrange those, again, the top 3 that is selected were career consulting, executive search, and technical recruiting. If I want to change out, take off the career consulting, I just click on the push pin here. I think it's green now on the screen. It's supposed to blue on this slide share, this slide I made of it. Again, my touchpad is extremely sensitive on my computer. Okay, so if I click career counseling and click that, it would drop down to the list below, and you can have up to 50. If I clicked on one of the ones below, like recruiting, I could click on that, and it would move up to the top 3. You can rearrange the order of those by clicking on this, hold down your cursor on that, move your cursor over there, hold down your mouse, your left button and your mouse, and you can rearrange the order. So it makes more sense if you have so many that are there. As I say, I have about 49 in my particular profile. Okay. The other thing that you want to do, you might ask, well, why would I want to look at other people's profile on LinkedIn? Well, if you're not showing up when you do a search for somebody with your background like recruiter, and it shows here, this particular search, when I did it for Dallas-Fort Worth recruiter, there were 26,500 results. Again, it used to be when I was very active on LinkedIn, I'd show up in the first 2 pages. Now I'm lucky if I'm on the first 10 pages, which is 10 thumbnail sketches per page. So that's 100 profiles that somebody would look at. So what you could do is go in and look at Christina or Kaylee or Kelsey and see what some of the verbiage is in their profiles. Adopt, if it's not in yours and it applies to you, certainly go ahead and adopt it for your own. Okay. LinkedIn for job hunting in terms of searches on LinkedIn. We want to take a look at how does LinkedIn run a search? How do recruiters actually search? The difference being LinkedIn will do a search, but how they do it, recruiters search results and then look searching for jobs and then searching for people. We'll take a look at each of those areas in the next section. LinkedIn gives a score for every section on your profile. It adds up those scores at the end, and that's how they determine who ranks at the top of a list of a search. It's based on the sum of the values in each of those. So some of the things that they look at are keywords to your profession. They take a look at your skills that I mentioned there. They'll take a look at the exact match on job titles in your current and previous positions in your headline as well. I'll take a look at the company sometimes. Company may want to look for somebody in the medical field. Or they may look for somebody in a technology field, like a semiconductor company. That you're open to work, because recruiters like low-hanging fruit. They like easy to contact. People who are open to being contacted. They'll take a look at the geographic location. We'll take a look at that. Most people, when you apply for a job, you're looking for a job within 20 to 25 miles from home. That's the default setting on most job boards today, is 25 miles. So that's what recruiters do. So you need to have that on your profile. And there's a way to set that up as well. All-star status, having a complete profile, the number of connections that you have, and lastly, any comments that you make. Are you active on LinkedIn? I know I was posted a notice yesterday about this meeting. I had 375 people in my network actually took a look at that or had a view of that. I don't know whether they actually read it or not. But that's in terms of how recruiters, LinkedIn does a search. What do recruiters look for? They typically look at keywords first. They look at job titles, past, present, and your headline and the open to work, about, and employment sections. So that's some of the ways why job titles are so important. They take a look at your skills. They may take a look at specific industries and specific companies, your education and location, and something like that. Once they've done that and defined that, they'll take a look, delve down into your summary and your employment history. Well, let's take a look at how they can modify that. You notice up here, for this particular search, there were 19 searches, and this is the form that the actual recruiter actually uses if they're using LinkedIn Recruiter. Again, they had a total number of 19 candidates, and they had with a telling you can engage in the company's telebrand, you're following the company, and you have a past applicant. So that's what an actual search form looks like. This was for a chief architect for a company in San Francisco. This is the actual form. This is from Kirk Vandematter's presentation. There are about, I think, 3 screens full of these things that he can go through and check any of these boxes down here. And you notice the different areas that they can check on, okay, for refinement. And they can go through the 700, and this one is an older slide, 710 million people on LinkedIn worldwide. Actually, it's over 760 million right now. But that's what the input screen looks like. They can narrow that down to maybe 70 candidates with a few clicks and a couple of minutes on the computer. They can narrow it down, as I said. They can take a look at the total number of candidates, most likely to respond to a candidate or respond to an inquiry, open to new opportunities, and engaged in your talent brand. They have an interest in working for that company. So that's something that is available to you as well. That's a screen off the LinkedIn Recruiter. Now let's take a look at an actual search results. This is a pretty general result in terms of searching for an accountant. They didn't put any limits on that or where they wanted them. There were 4,281,000 people that respond, candidates in the pool, and likely to respond 537,000. So this is a search that I wouldn't do without putting more information in the search criteria itself. Okay, so but they could narrow it down that way. This is just a general search. Here's a more specific search. They were looking for a product manager or senior product manager. Ideal location was in the Seattle area, and they were looking, or possibly the San Francisco Bay Area. And notice that some of that, they were looking at companies in the Seattle area, Microsoft, Amazon, and Fluke Corporation. And they also added the schools. They added University of Washington up there. They got 6,900 candidates. There were 2,500 didn't have any company connections. 0 were past applicants, but they had 460 that were following that company, following their talent brand. Here's another search results in Chicago. Again, for a project manager in the Chicago area, they take somebody out of San Francisco or New York. Typically, that project manager needed to know about business strategy and analytics. These are some of the other search criteria that they included. 42,000, almost 43,000, only 83 were open to new opportunities. Who is the recruiter going to look at first? Probably these 83 first. And again, have company connections and engaged in your talent brand. So again, those are the things, that's actually what a search looks like that a recruiter gets. So if you're searching for a job, how do you go about doing that? Well, there's the basic way is to enter the search box on LinkedIn, search jobs and location. You can enter a job title and you can enter a location. If you only enter the title here and don't enter a location, if you haven't run a search in the given area, it will default to the United States. Okay, that's something that you want to take a look at. Let's take a look at a search that I did for a senior account here in Plano. Again, notice the default setting at 25 miles. Again, when I ran this, and there's some other filters we're going to take a look at, there were 144 results in Plano. Okay, and this is the jobs open in Plano. There were 144. We don't know when these were. These were, okay, because I'm an A&M graduate, it says that there are alums that work there, former students from A&M that I might want to contact. One time when I was interviewing for a recruiter position, it was very important to the hiring manager that I had worked at Texas A&M. He was a Texas A&M graduate. I won't say that's the reason that I got the job, but let's say it was a factor in my favor during that conversation. You can take a look at that and how the people look at those things as well. Again, some of the filters that are there. One of the things that I do recommend for everybody, unless it's just a very unusual job title and there aren't very many in the total United States, is to limit your search to the past week, because the average response time to a job posting is probably 3 minutes, and there can be as many as 200 or 300 in the first hour that respond to a job posting. Some of the other filters that are available to you, you can narrow it down by salary. So if you were looking for a position to over 100,000, of the 634 in the past week, only 83 of them were 100,000 or above. Now that's not totally accurate because they don't always provide salary information. But these are some of the other filters that most of the jobs are going to be permanent full-time positions. And you notice the location of some of those. It also has a company listing, industry listing as well. So those are some of the filters that you can choose. You can then apply. There's a clear button so that you can go back to your basic search so you don't have to enter the search terms again. But that filter is very helpful in finding and narrowing down the job search for you. You can also create job alerts. Once you've opened a job like that, recruiter in Plano, Texas, this is what I did. You can turn the job alert, this radio button, you click it on. And that gives you the option to receive notifications or thumbnail sketches about the job daily or weekly. And then you save that and it's turned on like that. So I get these kind of searches just to show what it's doing. But creating those job searches helps you, means that pushing out new jobs that are listed to you, it gives you the chance to respond to them without having to do a search on none of those. And you can have multiple searches open or multiple alerts open on different jobs. I'm going to take a look at how you do one at a specific company as well. So networking is vitally important. The call that I was on this morning is estimated that anywhere from 40 to 80% of the jobs that the people on that call are looking for will be filled by networking. That's an important way to do it. So how do you go about the networking process and finding people? Well, first, Carol Brickle, who is a recruiter and career consultant who recently passed away, unfortunately, she did a search for me. Okay, she just entered the first name in the search box up there, the general search box. So this is what she came up with, and see all the results. This is my name. Lord Locke is a law practice, a law firm here in town. There's a hotel and some others are available to Locker Room because Locke is a part of that. It's another thing that you can do, but that's a way to find people, to start to find people. And if you're looking for recruiters, this is a new slide that I got from Gail Houston yesterday. You can enter into that, and you can enter into a recruiter, okay? And you're looking for a position in cybersecurity. Well, she ran this search for recruiter cybersecurity and came up with 5,700 results. She added recruiter engineering on Google, 21,000 results. Again, if you do that, you can take a look at that. And before you contact a recruiter, I would take a look at their headline and review their summary to make sure this is a person that you want to follow up with. Take a look at the company's website. Add the position number if there's a position number on the posting, and include a copy of your resume. And that's a way to get your resume in a different way rather than sending an email, but you can send it via LinkedIn as an enclosure. Okay. Another way is to use your own network to do a people search. You can, or people search, if you did a job search, on that job search, when it opens up, there's a down arrow right here, and people is one of those. You can go down to the people and add a position that you're looking for somebody in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. In this case, I think I was looking for a recruiter or a recruiter. Okay. Executive recruiter in Dallas was the search, and that's how you can narrow it down to people and find the people with that kind of background. Okay. You can look in your own network. It says up here, look in your network. This is somebody else's network. They had 2,600 connections, and they can add a filter to that. You can search with filters, as it says there. This is what the filter for networking looks like. You can do a company search on a company's webpage. In this case, Meta Analytics is a company on Bush Turnpike here in Richardson. Okay, I looked at their company. Somebody was looking for that. They have 510 employees. Okay, they work there. And looking at that, you can notice I'm looking for Dallas-Fort Worth. So I want to search on Dallas-Fort Worth. And the next thing that I want to do is narrow the search down for looking for a recruiter in Dallas-Fort Worth. By looking at that, comes out Brian Sham is the recruiter here in Dallas. Okay, and sometimes they have recruiters are open to connection. You can connect with a recruiter. But in addition to that, you can do a company search and make that a company search. You can create a search alert for any new job posted for that company. So any new job posted, Meta Analytics for a business analyst would be shown. So you create a job alert that way on the company page. In wrapping up, each of you need to complete your entire profile. In doing so, it will increase your rating. The likelihood you'll appear at the top of searches. You want the name that you're known by. Make it easy for the person to call you. When we get a call for John Alderson, the telemarketers, I like to play around with them. And I say, which one do you want? They say, well, senior. I say, well, he passed away about 20 years ago. Well, how about junior or the third? My son is John Alderson as well. I play around with them. Make it easy for whoever is calling you or contacting you to get hold of you, so it makes it easier conversation starter. The job title and your headline or titles of the positions you're looking for. And if you don't, as I mentioned, include a title, it's going to default to your last job title in your employment section. Complete the open to work. Even if you don't open it up to the world, you can open it up to just recruiters, but it does allow you to have 5 additional job titles, and those job titles count when somebody runs a search, as we mentioned. Do include your phone number and your email address in the top line, the first line of your about section. It can also be in the bottom line. If we're not open to connection as first degree connections, that may be the way that I have to get in touch with you. Okay. The experience section, the company names, titles, duties, and measurable results. What were the results of performing those duties? Because if you can add measurable results, again, they add credibility to your experience. Keywords from your profession. You know what they are. If you don't, look at some of the keywords that are listed in jobs that you search for. Those are the keywords that need to be in your profile or in your resume. And do a people search on your job title, that you're looking for in the geographic area. And if you don't show up in the first 10 screens, take a look at some of the other sketches that are in there and include some of that information in your own profile. Jeff, I'm back to you. It's lockealderson@gmail.com if you want a copy of the profile. A copy of the presentation today.
Locke, thank you very, very much. Anybody, I didn't see any questions pop up in the chat box, but if anybody has any questions, you're welcome to unmute your mic and ask away. I do want to emphasize the point about putting on that green banner around your name, around your face, because I think that's real important. I know there's a recruiting agency here in Dallas. They have 30+ recruiters. None of them pay LinkedIn for the recruiting package. They just use regular searches. So just be aware that, you know, when you just say you're open to recruiters, but you don't want the regular public to know about it, that's fine if you're currently working. You don't want people at work to know you're looking. But for everybody else, if you want to be found, make it easy. Let people know, show them, you know, put that green banner on there. I think it makes a huge difference. Any other comments from anybody? Keywords are the name of the game. It's getting keywords on LinkedIn. I think that really helps. Well, Locke, thank you very much for your time today. Let me pop up here. Next week, our presenter is going to be Terry Sullivan. He's going to have a really different look at how to get your LinkedIn profile where it needs to be. Once again, he's into selling. He's into, you know, social selling, making sure your media. So, you know, how to tell your key contacts who you are, what you do, and how you can help. Please note, Terry does not allow his presentation to be recorded. So if you want to see it, you will need to watch it live next Tuesday. Okay, I need everybody on the line. If you will, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Jeff Morris, promise to always send a personal note whenever I send a LinkedIn request to connect with anyone. This includes when I use my cell phone or my computer. Very important. There are two kinds of buttons on LinkedIn. There's a white connect button and a blue connect button. A blue connect button will always allow you to send a personal note. A white connect button will send that generic invitation, and personally, I won't connect with you because I don't know why we should connect. All you have to do is tell me, I saw you here today at the presentation, or thank you for putting this on, or, you know, what I don't like the blue background, pick a different color. Just tell me something and I'll be glad to connect with you. But send that personal note with anybody because you have a greater chance of connecting with that person. Career DFW, Career USA, we're putting on training 4 days a week. Hopefully you'll join us. Tomorrow, we've got something new for Interviewing Wednesdays. We're not going to be repeating the 13-part workshop, but the practice interview team is actually going to be putting on a real practice interview. So you can watch a real person being interviewed in the practice interview session. If you've never done it, this is a great way to do it. Back when we were meeting in person, you know, we'd have 40 or 50 people watching one of 3 or 4 different interviews. And those people got to sit in the back of the room and watch what happened. So you can do the same thing online. You will only be able to watch it on Zoom. This will not be on Facebook and will not be recorded to watch after the fact. So if you're available to join us tomorrow at 1 o'clock, join us for the first time. We do a real practice interview, and that'll be tomorrow at 1 o'clock on Zoom. Thursday, being the first Thursday of the month, we're going to talk about resumes, effective resumes, how to prepare your resume for the ATS system, which is the applicant tracking system. This Friday at the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group meeting, we will have open forum. We will talk about whatever it is in your job search. You know, what's new in 2022? What do you expect? What are your hopes for? Whatever your topic is, come join us, and we'll have experts who will jump in, and you're welcome to, you know, offer your opinion, suggestions on any of the comments that we've got. So it's always a very interesting interactive session on Friday. Lenora says, will the practice interview be repeated? Yes, our goal for the Wednesday practice interview team here is this is what we will be doing from now on from every Wednesday at 1 o'clock. We will be showing a real practice interview. And if you want to schedule a practice interview, you're welcome to be the person being interviewed, and you know, you'll have other people watching, but you won't see them because we'll hide all their pictures and stuff. So it'll just be the 4 people on the screen, the interviewer and the 3 interviewee, or the interviewee and the 3 interviewers will be on the screen. If you'd like to join the Career DFW and Career USA LinkedIn groups, you're welcome to do so. You do not need to live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area to join Career DFW. That just happened to be the first group I started. We have over 13,400 members, so it's a great way to expand your connections. And if you can't reach out to somebody because you're a second or third degree connection, you can always message them through a group. So it's always a great way to do that. So join groups that you're interested in beside these two LinkedIn groups. This session has been recorded. It is going to be on the Career DFW Facebook page and the Career USA YouTube channel for you to go back and watch. If you missed anything, if you want to get it's nice to have the PowerPoint, but it's nicer to hear the words that go with the slides, because a lot of times, you don't get the meaning behind some of the slides sometime. On the Career USA YouTube channel, just click on playlist where you see playlist, and at the very bottom, pick whichever one you want, resumes, interviewing, LinkedIn, and where you see the red arrow, click on view full playlist, and up will come a list of all the different dates and topics that have been talked about in that particular playlist. And you're welcome to go back and watch any of these at your speed at whatever time, whenever is convenient for you. If you're not receiving emails about our workshop and you'd like to join, if this is the first time joining, send an email to Career USA subscribe at groups.io. You'll never be spammed, but what you will get every day is you will get the title of the day, the topic of the day, and most importantly, the Zoom link of the day. So very important, especially for tomorrow for interviewing Wednesdays, since we will not be on Facebook. If you want to get that Zoom link so you can watch at 1 o'clock, just make sure you subscribe and you'll get that email on a daily basis. Please note, Career DFW, we're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Locke's a volunteer, I'm a volunteer, all of our speakers are volunteers. We're just here to help you land your next great opportunity. Please consider making a donation when you do so. So thank you for joining us today. Hopefully we'll see you later in the week. Locke, once again, thank you very much for your time, and everybody have a great rest of the week.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.